Hello and welcome to this week's Battle of the Ports, where we are taking a look at Ravensoft's October 30th, 1995 PC hit, Hexen: Beyond Heretic. Now for those who don't know, this is the sequel to Ravensoft's 1994 hit, Heretic. The name Hexen is actually from the German noun for witches, or could also be the German verb for casting a spell. Unlike the predecessor Heretic, a new feature that was introduced in Hexen is the choice of 3 character classes. Players may choose to play as a fighter, a cleric, or a mage. Each character has unique weapons and physical characteristics, lending to an additional degree of variety and replay value to the game. The fighter relies mainly on close quarter physical attacks, with weapons both mundane and magical in nature, and is tougher and faster than the other characters. The mage uses an assortment of long-range spells, whose reach is counterbalanced by the fact that he is most fragile and slowest moving of the classes. The cleric arms himself with a range of both melee and range capabilities, being a middle ground of sorts between the other 2 classes. Hexen uses a modified version of the Doom engine, which allows for looking up and down, and network play with up to 8 players. It also popularized the hub system of level progression in the world of first-person shooters. Unlike previous games which had relied purely upon general MIDI for music, Hexen is also able to play tracks from a CD. The game's own CD contains a soundtrack in an audio format that was exactly the same as MIDI soundtrack, but played through a high-quality sound module. However, the most significant improvement was the addition of wall translations, rotation, and level scripting.
Lies the realm of the Chaos Sphere. For eons, the Serpent Riders, masters of the sphere, have traveled the dimensions sowing destruction. Disparal is dead. Korax, the second rider, threatens another world. The world of Hexen.
The first port we're going to take a look at is the PlayStation version. This was developed by Probe Entertainment and has the FMV scenes and Redbook audio music from the PC CD-ROM version, but no multiplayer mode. The scripting and animation is slower, enemies have only their front sprites, and a lack of glory deaths when attacked by strong hits or weapons, and the frame rate is slower. Although all levels are present in this version and feature the correct layouts, their architecture details are somewhat simplified and there is some loss in overall lighting quality. This port is based on a beta version of the PC version of Hexen, as many gameplay tweaks are shared, such as the simple level design and fighter's weapon being weaker compared to other versions.
dimensions sowing destruction. Disparal is dead. Corax, the second rider, threatens another world.
The Saturn version, also developed by Probe, is next. Now, you would expect this to be worse than the PlayStation version, but in fact, it's not. The Saturn version inherits most of the restrictions of the PlayStation version, such as the simplified scenery architecture and downgraded lighting, although it does feature improvements in certain aspects. The scripting is faster, and the frame rate, while not fluid or consistent, is slightly better. We even get a brightness control, and we can play in full screen with little degradation to the frame rate. The enemies still have all but their front sprite missing, but they retain their gory deaths when killed by a strong hit or weapon. This version also has a hidden 2-player link-up cooperative and deathmatch modes, accessible only through an unlockable cheat menu. While this port shares FMV scenes and most of the Red Book audio from the other CD-ROM versions, it also includes some new music tracks. So yeah, Doom may be awful on the Saturn, but Hexen is not. The Nintendo 64 version was developed by Software Creations rather than Probe. This port retains all the graphical quality and scenery architecture of the PC version and has a pretty good frame rate. It also includes high detail and smooth filtering options. This version also has 4-player split-screen cooperative and deathmatch modes, although they must be played in low detail mode. Due to cartridge storage limitations, the Nintendo 64 version is based on the original PC floppy version and lacks the FMV scenes and Red Book audio music introduced in the CD-ROM version, although it has new narrative introductions to the levels.
Greetings, mortal. Are you ready to die?
And let's take a look at all those versions of Hexen running side by side.